everyone. Welcome to AHP Profits webinar weekly Thursday at 7 p.m. sharp Eastern Time. Super happy to have everyone here, and I would like to announce the most incredible owner that I have ever met online and had the privilege to work with. Raised in Colorado, now resides in Utah, United States. The most transparent and amazing owner. I now would like to introduce the one and only Charles Scoville.
Thank you so very much, Ernie. It's such a pleasure to be here, and thank you so much for your introduction. And everyone who's here, thanks so much for taking time out of your evening, out of your morning, or maybe you're up in the middle of the night. Thanks for being here, and thanks for being part of AHP Profits. The biggest question that we're getting a lot of, and I want to make sure to address this first, because this is something that has been going on since the very beginning. But of course, with so many more members involved now, that question is being asked by a whole lot more people. So let me turn on my screen share and webcam. I believe that I think about only 100 people can actually see my webcam, so it might not work. Oh, it looks like they haven't got that turned on right now, unfortunately. I had it on earlier with some other webinars. Definitely sorry that my webcam is not turning on with such a large group. I think that with this particular package, they don't allow if you have over 100 attendees, that the cam won't work. So definitely sorry about that, everybody who's here. What I wanted to go ahead and then do is address, first of all, how AHP Profits works. Which, if you've been on our opportunity calls, it's something that we're quite clear about. First of all, all of these different advertisements and account conveniences are being fed into everyone who's purchasing the directory purchases. So there's not just people sharing other directory purchases. Otherwise, yeah, I mean, we would fail for sure, you know. But since we do have all of these other services available, and these services are actually generating real results, I mean, chances are, if you've heard of any of these opportunities along the side, there's a really good chance that the first place you saw it was at AHP Profits. That's just the fact. With our advertising, it's really growing this huge exposure. So that's really how it works, is that real services that are generating real results, that buyers are buying and rebuying and purchasing and repurchasing, are being filtered through everyone who is buying a directory listing. Now, another question that people are having is, why is everything so slow? This sometimes can be met, especially by some other members who are very happy. These members can feel a little bit frustrated and irritated. And one thing that I wanted to touch upon real quickly is empowerment. The power that you have to affect the world around you. I mean, if you're sitting around complaining about how bad it is, what's going to happen is you're going to actually help bring about more of how bad it is. So really, truly, and I want you to really understand, there's nothing bad with AHP Profits, but when people are out there in the forums complaining about how slow it is, or if you're in all these Skype groups, or if you're on Facebook and you're everywhere talking about how bad it is at AHP Profits, how many new members do you think you're going to help out? Everyone is going to say, oh, I'm not going to get involved in AHP Profits anymore. Maybe they won't buy the advertising. I don't know what's going on, but I know that one thing for certain, we are in a great situation here at AHP Profits. And let me just show you a couple of those things. These are the statistics, and let me just make sure that it's showing on the page. There we go. Of the last 3 months. So this is April. And so, of course, when we started to see this declining amount, you know, coming down from our first month, a lot of people at the end of our first month were saying, uh-oh, we're about to see this thing fail. And people at the first day were saying, uh-oh, we're going to see this thing fail. Uh-oh, uh-oh. Every single day we've been dealing with this same exact negativity. And it's really just something that I am just, for the most part, ignoring and pressing forward and pressing through. It's not going to slow me down. I'm going to keep advertising. I'm going to keep promoting At Hit Profits. I'm going to keep doing everything. The payments are instant no matter what. So, I mean, if you guys want to be out there complaining about how bad it is and bring about more about how bad it is for you, then I'm really sorry about that. I'm going to keep being very empowered, and instead of sitting around and complaining, I'm going to be up and out there and promoting and talking with leaders and bringing in advertisers. I'm going to be talking about how great the services are, because there's really great things going on here. I mean, how many opportunities in the last 6 to 10 years or even 15 years have offered this kind of income? Now, keep in mind, this is income without referring. This is somebody that's tracked their revenue sharing, all right? Now, this is completely aside from people who have referred people and they're getting commissions on sales and things like that. I want you to really bear that in mind, because when I first started in an income opportunity, my very, very first income opportunity, I struggled to get one referral. 3 months went by. Guess how much I made in 3 months? Not a single thing. Why not? I had no referrals, and I had a sponsor who didn't know what they were doing either. And they were recommending that I went to my church and put up billboards and talk to my family and friends. I mean, this is something that's very important for you to fully recognize about how great At Hit Profits really is, especially as an income opportunity, is that you can have the opportunity to start earning without referring, okay? And when you see those results, you can actually now get out of your comfort zone, because you are feeling more in your comfort zone, because you're not so much afraid that people are going to get paid. You're not afraid that there's actual earnings going on, and you're not so afraid because you withdrew your earnings and you received instantly. I mean, how many opportunities out there have instant payouts? I mean, really, consider that really for just a moment here. When you're looking at how many opportunities are out there, and how many are paying without referring, and how many people are being paid instantly, and how many have been online for almost this long and still paying instantly. I mean, that's just something that you've got to really bear in mind, please. So that's our first month, and as you can see, it started to dip down, and people were going nuts. They were thinking this is the end. Well, this whole month of May, you can see that we were seeing some pretty much ups and downs types of days. Some days as low as 2.0%, 2.3%. Oh, you know it. On those days, we were hearing high complaints. Why? Why? This is 2% without referring income. 2%. Whatever percent, if it's greater than 0 without referring, it's incredible. Because think about it. Like I said, when I first got involved in my very first opportunity back in 2008, I was referring nobody, and for 3 months I made nothing. And actually I was making money for the company and for my sponsors and their uplines and all of that. I was paying my auto ship and all of that. I mean, hopefully that hits that home, that anything greater than 0% is amazing. It's amazing. All right, so we're seeing that through this time people were really skeptical. They weren't sure. I mean, day in and day out, are we going to crash? Are we going to crash? Are we going to crash? A whole month. Now, I want you to recognize, again, like I said at the very beginning of this whole webinar, how it works. It will not crash, because first the money comes in for the purchases, then it's dispersed to your account. So if you have money on there, you can withdraw it. And it's absolutely backed up in the processor down to the very penny. So that's the great thing about At Hit Profits. I mean, when you start comparing with a lot of other hypes that people have been familiar with and programs that have crashed, of course, those are Ponzi's. At Hit Profits is not going to ever crash. I mean, there might be some slow days, some not so slow days, and you can see that through these charts, that some of these days, yes, they were low, and then yes, it went back up. So then again, in June, let's take a look. We did have some real good days up, and then we had some days where it went down and then back up, and those types of things. Okay? Let me show you another image to give you a little bit better of a view. So here we are. we had some ups, downs, and then ups, and then back downs. I mean, this is something that I want you to fully understand, that At-Hit Profits is a real business. Now, if you've ever been involved in a business, like if you've ever worked a job a day in your life, you know that there are some days that are very busy, very hectic, going crazy out of your ears. You've got customers and just all these questions, everything going nuts, and then you have some days that are slow. Now, I mean, even my very first job, I worked when I was, well, let's see, I was 16 years old, and I worked at A&W Root Beer. It was a fast food joint, and it was really nice. I was a cook back there, and there were some nights that were so hectic crazy that we were constantly just making as many hamburgers right after another, and then some nights we were in the back of the kitchen dipping our heads in the sink full of ice because we had nothing better to do. You know what I'm trying to say? It's a real business, so you're going to see some days that are going to have high sales days, some days that are low, especially the weekends. I mean, marketers, for the most part, they do enjoy time off on the weekends. So it's something that's very important to recognize, that people that are buying internet advertising, it's a lifestyle for these people. They like taking some time off. So I know that ever since we ever started, every Saturday and Sunday, it seems to be the biggest time when people are wondering, hey, what's going on? I'm not earning anything. And it's like, you know, we are really splitting real revenues from real advertisers. So hopefully these graphs help you recognize that there are real ups and downs in this business, because it's a real business. And so every time that you're out there talking about Ad-Hit Profits, I hope that you look at it as a positive, not a negative, because very positively, seeing the fluctuations that we do it drives home the point that we are a real business, and that we're not one of these types of Ponzi's that gives you a set percentage daily and that we're going to fall and crumble within a couple months. This is something that truly, Ad-Hit Profits, launching out the gate, yes, we faced a lot of criticism, a lot of skepticism, a lot of people doubting and questioning, and all these types of things. But I want to reassure you that my plan has ever been with Ad-Hit Profits for it to stay online for years and years to come. I mean, that truly is what Ad-Hit Profits is all about. Now let me show you some other things about Ad-Hit Profits that you might not have noticed. Is our Alexa traffic rank is going up through the roof. We've dipped up and we've gone above 1,000, which is amazing. Some days, and then some days not. So I mean, the 7-day average right now is showing up as 993. I'm going to make that a little bit larger so you can see that. 993 for a 7-day average is incredible. I mean, especially since we've only been out for less than 3 months. I mean, this is truly amazing. I mean, this is a lot of traffic coming into our website. But I also want to point out your attention to the top of the Alexa ranking page, because it really is cool. I like this, where it says, Ad-Hit Profits, where making money is fun and easy. And then it gives you a chance to register or find out how it works. And it says that this site provides affordable advertising solutions for targeting the income opportunities, making money from home business opportunities niche, while also splitting their profits with all who purchase directory listings. And that's exactly how it works, really simply put, that we do offer very affordable advertising solutions, very affordable. And what's really great coming up next, I believe this will be launched tomorrow because my programmer was telling me that it should be ready to tomorrow, is pay-per-click advertising. Now, the great thing about pay-per-click advertising is that you only will be paying for the exposures to your banners that generate click-throughs. That's awesome. Now, let me give you an example. We had an advertiser who was kind of giving their testimonial of Ad-Hit Profit services, and he was explaining to me that he tried out one of these moneymaker forums that they were advertising for $55 a day, and they got 30 clicks. Okay, so you look at that, 30 clicks for $55. That translates to being about $1.83 per click. All right, so with AdHit Profits introducing pay-per-click advertising, you'll be able to start for as low as $10 and pay just 25 cents a click. 25 cents a click, that's huge savings, and it's making it lower expense for the out-of-pocket expense for the advertisers. So anyone who's involved in any opportunity can be an advertiser on AdHit Profits. And I know that most members of AdHit Profits are involved in 2 or 3 other opportunities outside of AdHit Profits. So what a great way to actually target your advertising to all of this traffic. All of these true and real visitors, because you know that Alexa doesn't track fake or bot traffic. So all of this is real traffic, real visitors. So what does that exactly translate to in terms of page views and unique visitors? This means that the total amount of page views per day is actually 1,998,304. Now that was checked earlier today. I took a look actually just right before this started, and we had actually dipped above 2 million. And 2 million page views on average is actually pretty standard with AdHit Profits. So I know that with all of those page views, you're going to get your clicks, and it's 25 cents a click. And another great thing about the pay-per-click being offered is you can now geo-target your campaigns. Now the exciting part there is there's a lot of opportunities that are only available in certain countries, or there's certain advertising that you really want to target only to certain countries. And so the great thing there is you can target those countries specifically for whatever it is that you're promoting and pay only for the clicks of the people that click on your banner. That's just exciting. Very easy to track and very easy to make sure, as you're tracking your statistics and seeing how many click-throughs you have and then how much traffic you have and then how many opt-ins you have, it's very trackable. It's very easy to kind of keep track of all of those metrics and kind of determine, okay, if I'm going to raise my opt-in rate, I need to raise the number of visitors that I get to my website. And you can certainly get those from AdHit Profits through the banner advertising. The splitting of revenues is going to be exactly the same, so when a purchase comes through, then it's going to be split and shared with everybody. And I believe that's been something that a lot of advertisers have been waiting for. They've been kind of holding back and not making some purchases recently as they've been waiting for the pay-per-click because it is much more effective and much more trackable within their own statistics, within their own lead capture pages and autoresponders to be able to kind of keep track of all of the clicks and all of that kind of a thing. So what's some other news? We're now at 31,785 members. That's really a lot of growth for just as young as we are. And there's some leaders that are just barely getting in that say, wow, Charles, you guys are still a baby, and you know what? I'm going to get in, and I'm going to push this forward. And they've got a lot of connections, so I just want to say that AdHit Profits, ignore the naysayers. Just push through them and just keep going because there's a lot of really big leaders that are involved with AdHit Profits that are pushing through all of this criticism just like I am. I'm not going to give way to them. I put so much work and effort into AdHit Profits, it is definitely here to stay. Total cash out, $9,342,933.32. Yesterday, over $248,000. That's quite a bit to pay out. And the interesting thing is that's actually down from what it was earlier in the week. So, I mean, these are some just phenomenal metrics when it comes to statistics with our website. So, I mean, there's some real exciting things. I mean, this is a very, very exciting time to get involved with AdHit Profits. We're very young. We're very new. We're barely even breaking into the industry. But even with that said, we've got a big chunk of the industry already here. So what a great place to get your advertising out in front of everybody. Now, one thing I want to address also on this call is, again, people talking about how slow it is. Let me, again, just reiterate, let's try to stay as positive as we can. And the main reason I say that is just like I showed with the graphs. There's the ups and the downs. And what are some reasons possibly why things could be going slower today than before? Here's some reasons that I kind of drew up for you. A lot of shares. Advertiser growth exists, yet the growth in share purchases have grown faster during these last particular few days. So the amount of revenues versus shares purchased are actually now a different ratio. And I believe that as we switch to pay-per-click, this won't happen much because advertising will become more accessible at less risk of paying for ad services without getting clicks. And again, just to clarify what I mean by less risk, is there are some advertisers who said, you know what, I really want to use that hit profit service. I hear some really good things, but I don't know how many clicks I'm really going to get from my campaign. And so they're a little bit afraid of just getting started. So with this, it actually removes that guesswork of how many clicks they're going to get on their ads and actually says, okay, you want 100 clicks? Pay $25. It's just that easy. And that way they can really track their results a lot easier. Another reason, Solid Trust Pay has delays. People are telling me this a lot these days. Solid Trust Pay is having delays not only for withdrawals, but also depositing money. So people are being recommended to use Easy Bonds instead because withdrawals through Easy Bonds are a lot faster with Solid Trust Pay. Now, some people are experiencing a 10-day wait for their funds to get into Easy Bonds. So that can also be causing some kind of delay or reduction in sales because the money that they were going to be using for the sales, they're trying to use it, but it just isn't working. They can't communicate. The processor is just not cooperating on their end, and they're having to go another route. And setting up that processor, that other processor like Easy Bonds, can take time to get verified, get your bank funds in there, and figure out how that new processor works because each processor works just a little bit differently. So that can just take a little bit of time as you step through and learn those things. Another reason, Payza rumors. People are pulling out their money from Payza because they hear that Payza is going down. Now, of course, these rumors have existed for years. They're not going down. But their inability to do business in Texas at this time has created an extra wave of concern, especially as new USA accounts are not being accepted at this time. So again, people are switching to another processor, maybe either because they can't sign up for Payza or they can't use Payza anymore because they're in the UK or Texas, or maybe they just say, you know what, I'm not going to deal with that headache anymore. I'm just going to go and use Easy Bonds because I can see that it's going to get me my money faster, there's less fees, and it helps the company. It helps add to the revenue share. So, I mean, that definitely, again, can take some time to set up a new processor if you're having to switch out of force or out of desire from Payza. Now, there is another thing, like I was showing you on the graph earlier, and I'll just show you again, is the end of the month, how there can just be this little downward slope. And you can see that. I'm just going to wait for it to catch up here on the screen. So you can see that it kind of has this downward slope at the first month, and then the second month there is a little downward slope here, and then we had some larger leaders coming in about the end of that month too. So that's where we had the lower slope and then some people coming in. So that definitely helped increase. But here we are now, the end of the month, just kind of seeing that downward motion. So I kind of associate that where, the last couple of months, I have seen that dip down in revenues overall. And I believe this is happening because people are earning online during the month and then make sure to pull their money into their accounts to pay their rent and other bills by the first of the month. So I believe that within the beginning of the month coming, that we're going to see some changes there too. We're going to see some new activity. Also, another thing to bear in mind is summer is here. People are also taking vacations, and so there's less purchases. There's people that are more involved with their family, and the kids are out of school, and things like that. I mean, of course, that's not that case everywhere in the world, but the largest percentage of our members reside within the United States and in other places in the world where it's summer right now. And so summer is a well-known time of the year within the income opportunity niche within this community that it kind of slows down. I mean, this is just something that's very historically true. And if you've been online with internet marketing and income opportunities for a few years or a long time, you know that summer has been kind of your struggling month. The month or those months of the summer, it just gets kind of hard to get a hold of people because of all of those types of things. And then, of course, the sixth reason is panic. because people have seen so many other programs stop paying about the time they reach their 90-day mark. And here we are at Hit Profits reaching really closely to our 90-day mark. And also, some are deciding to act on the ads that they've seen on our site and joining new revenue shares. And so that, to me, just shows the how do I put it, success of our advertising on our website. I mean, if people are seeing the ads on our website and they're joining other opportunities, other revenue shares, and that's actually causing a little bit of a decrease in what they're spending in ad hit profits, then that means that the advertising on ad hit profits is working really great to bring those referrals over to other opportunities. So there's definitely some of that can be going on. But there's definitely some fluctuation, just like what I was showing you in the graphs earlier. Through each week, each month, there's going to be some ups and downs because it is just it's a real revenue share, it's a real business, and we're selling real products and services. So I mean, I just kind of look at that and just say, I mean, that's just what's going on. And just so that you know, the reason number one with a lot of shares versus the advertising purchases. That's been something that has been overcome before as we attract more advertisers due to our Alexa ranking and overall standing out in the industry, and as advertisers get to know how many members we have involved. It's during these times that we see those big advertisers start to come in, and then larger amounts are earned, which brings in more members. So as this has lowered the amounts that individuals have earned individually, sales are still pumping through the system. And I believe that those will increase as more advertisers recognize the number of members that we have and how high loads of traffic that we have coming through the site to see their ads. And we've seen this before, like I said, and pulled ahead many times. So as it's going on now, I believe that we'll pull forward again. But this short time can be a bit stressful for some people, saying, is it really, is this, and that, and so there can be some panic, there can be some doubt, there can be some worry, but I hope that these graphs that I was showing you, and thank you, by the way, Jersey, for making these so that you can see that there's some real just ups and downs. It's just the trend of the business, and just taking a look at the overall week by week, just having just an up, down, just regular kind of business stuff. I mean, this isn't, I don't know how else to explain it. So I believe that with a pay-per-click advertising, we're going to see more of a rush of new advertisers, not just new advertisers, but the existing advertisers. And I believe that there's been a number of advertisers who have been waiting for pay-per-click to kick in before they start buying more campaigns. So I believe that's also been another contributing factor to things, in many members' opinions, slowing down so badly. But to me, I don't see it as slowing down too badly, mainly because if you think about it, there's been some of the biggest and most major opportunities online that have paid out a consistent 2% daily, and some of them last about 6 months, and some of them lasted 2 years. They had a reset every 2 months. Those types of things where you just kind of look at that and say, if over 3 million members were happy, and not only happy but excited with 2% daily, then why are our members so upset over 6% or 7% or 10%? And I just kind of look at that and say, I just feel that there just needs to be a greater amount of gratitude, some positive words being said, and people testing out the advertising services, because those who have been like, oh my gosh, this really is great, and so when they go out there and start talking about it on the forums, it does look like a lot of hype. It looks like they're just trying to get people to buy so that there's more money being earned, which might be true in a sense, but it really is true that the advertising is generating real results. I've even tested it out myself. So, it's something that is actual and it's real. Just to show you just the up-to-date statistics with how many visitors have come through our website in the last 24 hours, it's been tracked that there's been 2,033,070 page views in the last 24 hours. and the unique daily viewer or users or visitor on the website is 259,476. So I mean, the advertising on our website, of course, that's going to generate some results because these are real people. This is something that it's important to point out there for you. Other than that, let me just take a look here. I believe that we've covered everything as far as the news, the pay-per-click coming tomorrow. That's really exciting. I'm just going to pull up the questions here and see what questions some people might have here. All right, so somebody's question first is, I was wondering when we turn pay-per-click. Okay, so we covered that. Probably tomorrow. And how that will work is it's not going to be included in the 10 ads daily. In fact, from a member perspective, everything is going to be exactly the same. In fact, I would only ask you to only click on the ads if you're interested, because that way that will keep the click to sign up ratio good. So don't click on ads to give advertisers a feeling that they're getting more click-throughs and things like that. Please just keep it exactly the way that you are now. What this is doing for the advertisers is lowering their expense and raising the revenues overall for the company, because more and more advertisers are buying the service. And the thing that I was showing you earlier about the number of visitors to AdHit profits is the cost of advertising would have to continually to increase if we were to keep it at the day, month, or day, week, or month kind of model. But as you know, with higher Alexa traffic ranking sites, they switch over to pay-per-click, like Facebook and Google. So imagine if Facebook or Google shared their revenues with you if you purchased an ad from them. And so that's really what AdHit Profits is going to be doing, is as this is targeted for income opportunities, you're going to be able to benefit from all that pay-per-click advertising coming through as long as you buy a directory listing. And I just feel like that's just an amazing amount of revenues that can come through on that. Someone's saying that they did not get paid anything since last night. Let me go ahead and show you a really, really cool page if you ever have any problems. And this is just within our forum. And this is the solutions to most problems. And I love this because, I mean, when I was the only one doing customer service or answering the support tickets, what I was actually recognizing is that most of the people that were sending in questions, I would pull up their account and find one thing or another that caused the problem. So let's take a look at the question. I didn't earn anything in the last 30 minutes. In most cases, you did. But the number of people sharing and the amount of sales didn't add up to much to your balance. Now, if you're saying you didn't earn anything for like more than 24 hours, what could be is make sure that you've been credited for viewing your ads in the last 24 hours. Now, let's say if you go to the View Ads page and it says you've viewed 0 ads in the last 24 hours. That's where you're going to want to come back up here and say problems with clicking ads, not credited. If that happens, maybe closing all your browser, a new session, clicking and reloading the button on the ads view page. If that doesn't work, maybe there's an add-on blocking the views being credited, like the ad blocker. Ad blocker has been the most common reason why people are not being credited for their ads. So then you kind of go back and say, okay, everything's working there. I've been credited for all my ads. Then maybe your revenue shares have expired. They've reached their max. That's been a common thing too. A lot of members who are sending in and saying, hey, I haven't been earning anything. I haven't been earning anything. It's because their shares have already reached their max of $56.25. And so as long as those things are true, it's important just to keep an eye on the balance, because we do split the revenues of actual real revenues. Earlier this afternoon, I was in the forums and on Skype. At first, I was just processing some payouts for people for easy bonds, because those are all done manually. And then I was kind of getting messages from some of my support staff saying, oh, wow, we just had a spike. And so, I mean, if you haven't noticed that within the last 24 hours, any kind of increase there, then something is definitely going on with your account. Double check into these reasons. And if there is a particular reason that's different, which I haven't yet seen, but if you do have anything outside of what's being covered on this page, please contact support, and we'll take a look at your account specifically, and we'll make sure to get you an answer. So let's go on to the next question. The next question is, let's see, that one says, sorry I'm late, was caught up in some trivia. Let's take a look here. The next one is, with all the new rev share programs that seem to be popping up and with people jumping from one program to another, do you think this could hurt AdHit profits? The way I look at that is McDonald's. You know, they were just a small little restaurant at first, and then they grew and branched out, and they became a national chain. And then Burger King decided that they wanted to be a national chain as well. I just kind of look at it as the more revenue shares that are actually paying, the better. I don't see them as competition. And I do see it important, you know, to stand out and be an innovator. I mean, if they're copying me, then obviously they don't have that mindset of innovation that they're going to need. And hopefully they develop that. Because I would really love to see these other revenue share programs really last a very long time. Especially since we all know that there's a lot of programs that sprout up and disappear. And I mean, how many of us want any program to die? I would say I want everyone to be involved in every working program. I mean, why would, if a program is working and is paying and is run by an honest admin, why not get involved in it? There's so many great ways of making money online. And so I don't really see this as affecting us as a negative thing, like any kind of bad thing, but it would increase the amount of people who might want to advertise their service on our website and vice versa, going to their website and advertising us there. And I see that as only being mutually beneficial, having multiple paying programs online. The next question is, I have questions regarding taxes and earnings. Do we need to put aside earnings for income tax reporting? I've been talking with a tax professional, and what I've been told is that every individual is responsible for their own tax reporting. So I'm not going to be, you know, collecting your Social Security numbers or anything like that if you're within the United States. So definitely keep track of how much you're earning. I mean, that's of course your responsibility. I mean, if you were audited by the IRS, for example, and they took a look at your bank account and saw that you had increase there, and you weren't claiming where that increase, you know, not necessarily where it was coming from, but that you had that increase and you weren't paying taxes on that increase, then you might bump into some trouble. So definitely keep track of that. I know for me personally, that's what I do. I just kind of keep track of that for my own personal thing. That's what I've been doing the last number of years. And there's been some opportunities I get involved in that require a Social Security number, and some that don't. And so that's why I really wanted to make sure that I was doing something right. I didn't want to cause anything that's going to cause any legal problems for me, mainly because I have a son. I have custody of him, and I love him. I don't want to lose him. So, I mean, I want to make sure I'm doing things right. And I don't want to go to jail. I want to, and not only that, but I want this to stay up online because I see what it's doing for people. It's benefiting real people out there in the world, and that's my goal, is to help people. So I want this to last. So I want to make sure that I'm following the rules correctly. So that's where I found out that each member individually is going to be responsible for their own taxes. The next question says, many of these revenue shares are affecting business. They are causing distractions and should be restricted from advertising on AdHit profits. I don't really agree in that, mainly because my history, as you know, people who know me and who have been in previous webinars or have seen my introduction video on YouTube, is I've been involved in pay-to-click. And if you go to the pay-to-click websites, a lot of the websites that are being offered and advertised and all of the other pay-to-click websites are other pay-to-click websites. And even though they are pay-to-click, they are allowing other pay-to-click websites to advertise to their members. So I don't see any reason to limit or restrict revenue shares, especially if we're completely legit and paying instantly like how we are, and they're perfectly legit and paying and everything's happy there. Then I don't see any reason why people wouldn't want to be involved in more than one way to make money. To me, it would just not make sense to, I mean, if you can make money 10 ways, why not make those money the 10 ways? It just doesn't make sense. I don't see any need to restrict advertising because, like I've said before in other webinars, it is the advertising that we receive the revenues to split with all of you. So I mean, if we start becoming picky with the ads that we see and the ads that are being placed by advertisers, then that could probably be more of destruction on us than actually limiting, than having them actually on our site. I think it would be more destructive, limiting advertising. Somebody said that you can't hear me. Oh, it looks like other people can hear me just fine, so that's good. Positivity rules, absolutely. I kind of look back throughout all my life, and the people that I see the most successful in their lives are the people who just look at things with optimism and pull through, just have some faith, and just keep working, keep on swimming. I mean, if you've seen Finding Nemo, you know that phrase, keep on swimming, keep on swimming. I mean, if you just keep going, and if it's something that's a proven model and it's sustainable, then it's always going to work out if you just keep pushing forward. That's why I look at with AHP Profits is the greater and larger that we grow, the better it actually is going to work. So, and I know that we're just very new. So there's no reason to quit now. I mean, there's no reason whatsoever. The next question is, will you train how on to sell advertising for AHP Profits, considering the majority of our income is based on the banner ads? That's a really good question when it comes to selling advertising. I really am unsure on the best way to do that. And I think that's one of the things that I had on, when people were logging in. I had a video of myself giving people a challenge to test the advertising. I think that's really the only way that people can really find out for themselves how effective the advertising is by trying it. And then once when you try it and you're filled with that excitement, then you have that enthusiasm as you're sharing it with people, whether you're in the Facebook groups, forums, other marketers, anyone that you know of that needs to promote their income opportunity. Once when you experience those kind of results and you start to see the sign-ups, I mean, I threw an ad on there, and I'll just be quite honest with you. I bought an ad myself on AHP Profits for an opportunity that I joined a year ago, actually over a year ago. It was back in March 2012. And that opportunity, when I first got involved in it, I was promoting it so hard, and I was spending so much time to grow and develop my team that it was kind of frustrating, I guess, to me at the time, because I only grew to about 20 of my own reps, 20 of my own people. I sponsored 20 people within a couple of months, and I just didn't feel like that was enough, and the income that I was making from that opportunity was just $1 each referral a month. And so it just wasn't feeling like it was worth all of the time and attention, so I kind of just let it stay. But I liked the product that they were offering. So I went ahead and purchased a banner on our website just to promote this particular opportunity. And amazingly, I had hundreds of sign-ups, and I am not exaggerating. There were seriously hundreds of sign-ups to my lead capture page. And not only that, I started getting phone calls because I didn't realize that the company's lead capture page actually gave prospects my phone number. I started getting phone calls out of the blue randomly. And I was like, who's calling me, because I don't have my phone number on the website or anything right now. And so I was just like, what's going on? So, I mean, that to me was it just drove it home, like where just how hard it was before, where then all of a sudden just buying that ad and just all of a sudden, boom, all of a sudden I'm getting this email, you have a new distributor. I'm like, what? I wasn't even trying. I just put a banner up on AHP Profits, and I really did not expect to get that email, and I did not expect to see all of the signups that I had in my back office there, and I certainly didn't expect to get the phone calls that I got. So that's where I just kind of looked at that, where once when you try the advertising and you start telling people about it, I feel like that'll sell in and of itself, because really the best sales is sharing that excitement. And once when people see that you're excited, it's a transference of emotions. That's really what sales is all about, is transferring your emotions to someone else and helping them recognize what's in it for them. And I'll tell you, anyone who's involved in any income opportunity, their main desire is to grow their income and to grow their downline, because they know that by getting referrals and growing their downline is going to help them make more money. And if they start to recognize more fully that advertising on AHP Profits is going to help them accomplish their goals, then I truly believe that's going to probably be the best advertising strategy ever, with training and helping people just try out the service, because once when you try it, you'll get that excitement about it, and once when you get that excitement about it, you might not be able to shut up about it. You know what I'm saying? The next question is, my payout was 1 second after I clicked withdraw. I still can't believe it. Thank you, Ryan. I really have done my best to ensure that those payouts are instant. I think the only kind of delay that we have is just every now and then we get a little bit of a communication error between our server and maybe Payza or Solid Trust Pay. There might be just some kind of, through the API, there's a communication error. So I go back in there every so often and clear out some of those pending. Or easy bonds right now, those are all manual. So really in a day, there's really not very many that get stuck in there. The major reason, though, why there's any kind of delay is somebody using their email address for Solid Trust Pay instead of their username. Maybe they're using a username instead of an easy ID for easy bonds. Or for Payza, maybe they're just putting in a username or something like that. So if you're using the correct payment ID, you're going to get paid really fast, and I really love that about AdHit Profits. And I really love the response within the industry that people see as they are even showing prospects saying, hey, you have doubt whether this works? Let me just show you this withdraw, and they withdraw, and then they see the money right there. I mean, that has really helped a lot of people get signups into AdHit Profits, and I know that from many people who have shared that with me and how grateful they are to see those instant payments. So thank you for expressing that to me, Ryan. The next question is, why can't we see your screen share? I think it's working. Yeah, it's working. I'm showing the display. It's working. Somebody was comparing us to a bank. You're absolutely right. And just for clarity purposes, I mean, of course, we'll never compare ourselves with a bank because, of course, that would then bring on regulators. But it is true. I mean, if you look at it that way, but I really shouldn't have probably even mentioned that. But thank you, Ricky, for bringing that to my attention. And you're right. You're absolutely right. The next question is, plus the sustainability. You are kidding me? Yeah, you're right. I mean, the sustainability when it comes to this opportunity, it's completely sustainable, self-sustained upon every purchase. So there's never going to be a problem with withdrawals. Roller skates waitresses, you got it. Will you explain how AdHit Profits will be profitable for everyone as the membership grows to $100,000 to $1 million plus? I want to let you know, Brian, that truthfully, we do have over $1 million in sales every day. Even though it's slow right now, we actually had over $1 million in sales today. But when it comes to the membership size, I believe, I mean, you just start to look at, when we start to see those types of numbers of people coming involved with AdHit Profits, say we become as big as Facebook. Do you think Facebook is concerned of how much advertising they're selling? They probably are tired of how many advertisers want to go to Facebook. Almost tired. You know what I mean? They are now filtering out, no, you can't advertise that, no, you can't advertise that, no, you can't advertise that. Where with AdHit Profits, we are definitely set up to, I mean, just taking a look at the trends of not only the payouts that we've made, the trends of new members that are coming in every single day, the trends of revenues that are coming through our system every single day, all these types of things. I mean, we're really trending to become quite large. And there's a lot of leaders that they've caught this vision early on. They said, Charles, you really got to prepare. We're going to be millions large. You watch. In a couple of years, you're going to see that we're going to have a couple million members. Now, let's put it this way. If we had a couple million members that are interested in making money online, why would any of these advertisers want to advertise on Google anymore for income opportunities? Why would they want to go there when their click-through rates stink? They're paying a lot more for their clicks. And I'll tell you, I've advertised on Google for income opportunities, and all of a sudden all my clicks are all used up, and I have 0 signups to show for it. And so, I mean, as far as what I'm finding out from advertisers with AdHit Profits, they're seeing the clicks, they're seeing the click-throughs, and they're seeing the signups, and they're seeing more money being made with their other opportunities. So I just kind of look at that and say, I think that in some time, as we get bigger and bigger, that there can be a shift. There could be a shift from these pay-per-click advertisers, instead of advertising on Google or Facebook to grow their downlines, to grow their lists, all these types of things, they're going to want to advertise on AdHit Profits. And I believe that kind of shift has already started to begin. And especially as there's advertisers who have already been saying, wow, I can't wait for pay-per-click. and they're holding off on starting their campaigns until pay-per-click gets started. So I believe that within the next few days, in the coming month, we're going to see some really, really good things and continued growth and prosperity all around. The next question is, that says to advertisers, I have to get on that site. Yes, exactly. When will PPC begin? Hopefully tomorrow, Helena or Helen. I believe that, the programmer, he was saying that it was real close to being done, and then he had a power outage, so he didn't get everything completed today like how he had planned. So I believe it'll be all set and ready tomorrow. Charles, will pay-per-click increase revenues? Absolutely. And just to kind of illustrate how that works, and I don't know exactly how else to put it this way, but when you're looking at multiples, if you have many clicks already going through your website, and all these banners are already getting a high number of clicks, then what we're actually going to be doing is helping advertisers just feel that much more confident in the services that they're paying for, where they could have gotten the same kind of click rate before. And one of the advertisers, he was noticing that depending on his campaign, he might actually be paying just a little bit more, like 5 cents more per click or something like that. But I believe what's going to be really going on is it's going to increase revenues because more advertisers are going to recognize the value of the advertising. As we are increasing in the number of views per banner, there's now more clickers, more visitors on the website, and we keep growing more and more and more. So as we keep growing larger and larger as a membership base, as well as more and more traffic coming through our website, that's going to actually bring more and more clicks through to these ads. So the campaigns are going to keep getting used up, and more advertisers are going to keep buying more and more advertising. And I believe that in time we're going to want to switch over to a bid system. I truly believe that one of these days we're going to switch over to the same kind of bid system that Google or Facebook have currently, and other bidding type of pay-per-click networks have, where there's a bid, and then those will also very much increase revenues. It's just going to be an amazing amount of revenues. I truly believe that as we move forward into the future, especially as how young we are and how young we're introducing this into the ad-hit profits model. The next question is, I love that pay-per-click. Wow. Thank you, Kurt, for that. Charles, I guess I answered the question too soon. Let's see, how do we get the link? I'm not sure what link it is that you're looking for. But if you might be referring to this solutions to most common problems, you can go into the forum and find it that way. Or if you do the contact support, you'll find the link for contacting or common solutions to problems right in this section here that's highlighted. And it should be highlighting here pretty soon. There we go. So right there in that section. So that'll help you kind of look for our frequently asked questions and the common problems and solutions. If you do ever have any problems with ad-hit profits, a lot of the solutions are something that you can have. You're empowered to solve them for yourself, which is really great because you don't have to wait for support to help you. You can just kind of take care of it. Geo-targeting, yes, absolutely. Exciting, there's been a lot of people, especially throughout the UK, who are so excited about geo-targeting because, these are big advertisers who really only want to target the UK. And they weren't advertising before, but now that they can, even though you're not in the UK, you get to split in all of the revenues that they're going to be using on all of their advertising that they're going to be buying. Is it not true that the more people we get, the less percentage we will all get as we go? I would say that it's a less percentage of all of the revenues, but let me just kind of illustrate here real quick. How much revenues are being generated by Google? When you start thinking about all of the revenues being generated, where are their revenues coming from? Pay-per-click advertising. That's really where their advertising, that's where all of their money. Now, if you know how much money Google is making or how much money that Google or Facebook is making, and you see that they're making their money from pay-per-click advertising, or YouTube, they're making their money from pay-per-click advertising. Introducing pay-per-click advertising to ad-hit profits, I believe, is only going to actually add greater sustainability when it comes to the amounts people can earn without referring, and can really certainly help bring about a lot of excitement and help people refer more and more, which then increases the amount of advertisers that we have. So it starts to become this endless routine where members start earning more, They refer more members. As there's now more members, it's now attracting more advertisers, which in turn brings more revenues to share with everyone, which then makes people more happy to refer more. So we kind of see those types of cycles that are going to be developing, and that's what we've been seeing throughout the very beginning of AdHit Profits ever since the beginning. And I know that when we first started, there weren't really any ads, but now you're seeing more and more ads all the time. I know that in the last couple of days, since the announcement that pay-per-click advertising is coming soon, advertisers have been kind of holding off on their purchases until it becomes live because it is such a more popular mode and method for advertising, especially at such low rates as 25 cents per click. Let's take a look here. The next question is, can we have multiple listing entries instead of just one? The main reason why we only have one is because I would rather encourage people to purchase the advertising services that we all share in rather than encourage more and more purchases of listings. Now, there has been an idea of purchasing an additional listing, but not have it actually also be another share. It could just be another listing. So that's something that I believe there's a few things that are already on the docket for my programmer to build in AdHit Profits, more innovations and country targeting and language translations to build in pages in different languages like Portuguese and things like that. So there's a number of things that are already in front of the line when it comes to developing AdHit Profits. So things will keep getting better and better, new innovations, adding additional listings and having them just be an additional revenue stream has been something that I've been looking at, and I truly believe that's something that I would probably want to add sometime in the future as well. Payza is the fastest instant. Thanks, Kurt. Do you have a real verifiable address? You know, I just actually found out from my compliance officer today that I need to add that to my website. And actually, if you were to search for AdHit Profits LLC and you went to the Utah government website, you would see my address. And so now I'm going to be posting that on the website just to be 100% fully compliant with anything that, I mean, there's a lot of nitpicky things, and thank goodness for John Rock being such a great compliance officer, helping make sure that everything is in line there. Another question is, last week it took only 39 hours to move funds via Easy Bonds into my bank. Oh my gosh, 39 hours? Carl, that's amazing. All right, so the next question is, every day I am more pleased to be in AdHit Profits. Oh, I guess this isn't so much a question, but they're saying, and the more and more I realize that this is one of the most serious internet businesses. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you for that. All companies also have an evening out process. You're absolutely right. You know, there's a lot of fresh out of the gate companies that have this big explosion, and then they die off within a couple of months. So I mean, who knows? I mean, I know that with AdHit Profits, I have done everything possible, and I have a lot of advertising campaigns out there, new fresh ones that just launched today, new fresh ones that launched yesterday, ones that have been purchased and paid for the last over a year. So I really truly believe that this isn't going anywhere because, I mean, I do have advertising campaigns out there to bring a lot of traffic in. So, and I know a lot of our members are doing that same thing. So I truly believe that this is not going anywhere. And good, you know, that there's other opportunities to choose from, because that gives everyone that gets involved in income opportunities online more legitimate choices to choose from when it comes to income and making more money from home. I mean, why limit your income? That's just the way I look at it. Somebody's asking, why the fee? Well, that's part of our sustainability model. If we didn't charge any fees, then we would be paying all those fees. And when you start having all the members that we have, and if we were responsible for paying all those fees for all the members, then it would actually lessen or decrease the amount that we would be able to share and disperse with everyone. So if those small fees were paid just individually, then that would make it so that collectively we can share more, if that makes sense. It just has the whole side of the thing where it comes to multiplying. Why the fee when purchasing ad packs? That just comes back down to that same thing. Is the fees, any fees that AdHit Profits is adding to any purchase is actually only a fee that's being added because of the processor. So that's why you look at, like, if you made a purchase with Easy Bonds, that your fee would be different than if you were to purchase with Payza or different from Solid Trust Pay. The fees are completely mathematically set out to be exactly what we have had to pay when we receive those funds. Since we are coming up on our hour, I'm going to just answer two more questions. Someone says, please, can't something be done to limit the flashing banners? Again, I would recommend not to really be too much of a picky person when it comes to where we're getting our revenue from. If you don't like those banners, just don't look at them. Just keep in mind the revenues that we're sharing with you are coming from these people. So I think we should be really grateful for their advertising and not point out, hey, they're not good enough for us, because we all want to earn, and I know that that's what everyone's been asking is, I want to earn more, I want to earn more, and I've been trying to put together some information of how to earn more, and it is, of course, through advertising, whatever else it is that you're involved in online through AdHit Profits, and it's through using your AdHit Profits referral link to advertise in other places to help bring you more referrals here and recommend our services. Can we have multiple directory listings? Okay, we just answered that. Will pay-per-click increase vet revenues? Yes. Let me take a look here. How long before PPC gets activated? Probably tomorrow. I'm really expecting tomorrow. I really believe it'll be tomorrow, and hopefully it is. Charles, have you thought about offering advertising to people without having to join AdHit Profits? Definitely. Our advertising services are not limited to those who have purchased directory listings. Now, there's a lot of advertising websites out there, and every single one of them has you register at least, so that you can at least keep track of your advertising campaigns and take a look at your banner exposures and your click-through rates and things like that. So that's what you're going to see as well with AdHit Profits. People at least need to sign up for an account, just so that there's accountability, so that they can see their statistics for their advertising. Let's see, one more question. Will you add a search function? I think that would be something that I would want to add for both the forum as well as to the directory listing. I think that's something that I would want to add sometime in the future. The only reason why it hasn't been added yet is mainly because of the large amount of work I'm already putting on our programmer to ensure that not only things keep running smoothly, but also that more innovations are built in. So definitely thank you again, everyone who is here, for being AdHit Profits and for making time this evening or during your day or night, whatever time it is in your part of the world. Thank you for being here with us tonight on AdHit Profits, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, evening, or have a good night's rest. Take care now.